The days that followed were tense and filled with quiet planning. Amara remained at Cheka's aunt's house, moving cautiously between rooms, avoiding the local townspeople who might have heard rumors. She spent most of her time thinking, plotting. Cheka was her only ally in this quiet war against Patricia. They met secretly, late at night when the house was asleep, exchanging information and discussing their next move. Miriam, back at the hospital, continued to feed them updates, though Amara's heart sank with every word about her father's increasing desperation. But it wasn't just about hiding anymore. Amara had grown stronger, more determined. She had been the victim for far too long. She couldn't let Patricia destroy her completely. One afternoon, as the sun was setting, Amara sat at the small wooden table, scribbling in a notebook. She was planning her next step, how she would expose Patricia's lies, how she would reveal her cruelty to the world. What if we recorded her? Cheka suggested suddenly, breaking into her thoughts. Amara's eyes snapped to him. What do you mean? What if we could get her on tape, confessing her actions? Amara paused, her heart racing at the thought. It was dangerous. Risky. But it might just work. You have a recording device? She asked, already forming a plan in her mind. Of course. I have a few tricks up my sleeve, Cheka replied with a grin. If we can get her to speak honestly, maybe even threaten you again, then we'll have all the proof we need. Amara nodded slowly. It was risky, but the idea of finally confronting Patricia face to face, of catching her in the act of cruelty, was intoxicating. That night, they put the plan into motion. Cheka's cousin had connections in the local tech world, and he managed to get them a small, hidden recorder that could be tucked into the lining of Amara's jacket. It was small, discreet, and easy to use. I'll help you set it up, Cheka said as they prepared. When you go to her, act like you've given in. Act like you're afraid of her. Get her to let her guard down. Amara hesitated. And if she doesn't speak? Then we'll have to make sure she does. The next evening, Amara dressed carefully, choosing a simple outfit that wouldn't draw attention. She had already memorized the layout of Patricia's house, the mansion she had once called home. She knew the secret ways in and out. Her heart pounded in her chest as she approached the house, the evening sky darkening above her. She wasn't sure if she was ready to face the woman who had ruined her life, but there was no turning back now. The front door creaked open, and Patricia appeared in the doorway, her face a mask of surprise and feigned concern. Amara. Patricia gasped, her voice dripping with false sweetness. What are you doing here? I've been so worried. Your father. I need to talk to you, Amara interrupted, her voice shaky but determined. Patricia's eyes narrowed, her lips curling into a faint smile. Of course, darling. Come inside. Amara stepped past her, the weight of the past few weeks pressing heavily on her shoulders. She felt the familiar dread, but now it was mixed with something else, revenge. The house was empty, save for the two of them. Amara could hear the faint hum of the air conditioning, but the silence between them was thick and suffocating. Patricia turned to face her, clasping her hands together. I don't know why you've been avoiding me, Amara. I'm your mother. I love you. Amara's insides recoiled at the word love, but she forced herself to stay calm. I need to know the truth. Why did you do it? Patricia blinked, feigning confusion. Do what, darling? Amara took a deep breath, her voice low and steady. Why did you hurt me? Why did you burn me? Why did you destroy everything I had? For a split second, Patricia's eyes flickered. But then, her smile returned, cold, calculating. You're just being dramatic, Amara. I never hurt you. You're imagining things. Amara took a step closer, her voice trembling with controlled fury. I'm not imagining anything. You hate me. You always have. You wanted me gone because I was a threat to you. Patricia's eyes flashed with anger, but she masked it quickly. You've always been ungrateful. You should have been thankful for everything I gave you. But you've always been a burden. A spoiled little girl who couldn't even appreciate the love I gave you. Amara felt her blood boil, but she didn't let it show. The recorder was tucked away safely, capturing every word. You know what, Amara? Patricia continued, her voice rising. "You're right. I never wanted you here. You took my husband's attention away from me. You were always the perfect little princess, and I was just the one who had to clean up your mess. But you know what? It didn't matter, because no one could ever love you the way I did." That was it. Amora's heart pounded as she realized the truth. This was the moment. Patricia had slipped. She had given her all the proof she needed. "Thank you," Amara said softly, her voice steady now. "I'm done." Patricia's smile faltered, confusion creeping into her eyes. "What do you mean?" "I mean," Amara said coldly, "this is over. You're going to pay for what you did to me." And with that, Amara turned and walked out, her step firm and unyielding. The recorder had captured every word. The truth had finally been laid bare. Amara felt like a different person as she walked away from Patricia's mansion. The cold night air seemed to wrap around her, but there was no longer any fear or hesitation in her heart. Patricia had finally revealed her true self. Every vile, venomous word was captured, ready to destroy her. The recording was safe, hidden inside her jacket, but that wasn't enough. She needed to act quickly. Checker had been waiting by the gate when Amara returned to the compound, his face lighting up in surprise when he saw her. "You did it," he said, his eyes gleaming with pride. "I did," Amara replied, her voice calm but full of conviction. "And now it's time for the world to know the truth." Checker nodded. "We need to take this to the right people. Your father, the police, anyone who will listen." Amara's mind raced. She knew her father wouldn't easily believe her. Patricia had his heart wrapped tightly in her hands. But the truth would come out. It had to. They spent the next few hours preparing. Checker made a few calls, arranging to meet with a local journalist who had a reputation for uncovering scandals. The journalist had contacts in the police force, and Amara knew this was their best chance to bring Patricia down. As the sun began to rise, casting a soft glow over the quiet town, Amara's heart began to settle. She had taken back control of her life. Later that day, Amara sat in a small, dimly lit cafe with a journalist, a woman named Ngozi, who listened to her story with growing disbelief. "So you're telling me, Patricia tried to frame you as a victim, when in reality, she was the one who attacked you?" Ngozi asked, her pen hovering over her notebook. Amara nodded. "Yes. She wanted to destroy me, to break me, so I wouldn't be a threat to her. She thought that if I was ugly and broken, my father would never love me again." Ngozi leaned back, her expression serious. "This is huge. We can expose her. But you need to understand, this won't be easy. Your father might not believe you at first. And Patricia will fight back with everything she has." "I know," Amara replied, her voice unwavering. "But I'm ready. She's made me suffer for far too long. I won't let her get away with it." The next few days were a whirlwind. The story broke in the local papers, and soon, the entire town was buzzing with the shocking truth about Patricia's cruelty. Her lies unraveled, and the evidence of her manipulation and abuse was undeniable. When Chief Obianuju saw the recording, his world came crashing down. He had spent years defending Patricia, unable to see the woman she truly was. The truth cut deeper than any wound he had ever known. The following week, Patricia was arrested. The police had gathered enough evidence, and her facade crumbled under the weight of her own words. For the first time in years, Amara stood before her father, not as a broken girl, but as a woman who had reclaimed her life. Chief Obianuju looked at her with regret in his eyes. "Amara, I should have believed you." "You should have," Amara said softly, her voice steady. "But it's not too late to make things right." Patricia's arrest sent shockwaves through the family. No one, not even Chief Obianuju, had expected the woman they had trusted to be capable of such cruelty. As for Amara, her scars would remain, but they were no longer symbols of her pain. They were marks of her strength, of everything she had overcome. In time, Amara found healing. She started a new life, one where she was in control, where she was no longer the victim of anyone's lies or cruelty. And Patricia, she faded into the past, a distant memory of the wicked woman who had tried to destroy her. But Amara had won. She was finally free. The end. Wow, What an intense journey we've just been on with Amara. Amara's story is a powerful reminder that no matter how long the night may be, the dawn will come. Her courage in the face of abuse, her determination to reclaim her life, and her relentless pursuit of truth stand as an unshakable testament to resilience. In every chapter, we saw how Amara went from being the victim to becoming the hero of her own story. She showed us that, even when faced with the deepest betrayal, the key to overcoming adversity is not just about escaping. It's about standing up and confronting the truth, no matter how hard it is. The moral lessons here are clear. 1. The truth always comes out, no matter how long it takes or how deep the lies go. 2. Your worth is not defined by others. Even if people try to break you, you are the only one who can define who you are. 3. Strength is born from pain. Our struggles don't define us, but how we rise from them does. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you handle toxic relationships, whether in your family, work, or friendships? What do you think is the most important step when you're faced with betrayal? And what lesson from Amara's journey stood out to you the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about resilience, empowerment, and finding strength in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. Remember, no matter the darkness around you, your light will always find a way to shine. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and as always, thank you for being part of this incredible journey. You are loved, you are valued, and you are powerful. Until next time, take care and keep believing in your own story. Thank you for watching.